Hi, my name is Tim. Welcome to Buddhism for Everybody. This is a series of videos that talks about Buddhist principles. Glad you're joining. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 virtues and the 10 non-virtues, but I'm going to begin by talking about the 3 doors. So Buddhism teaches us about ourselves. The idea is knowing the self leads to knowing each and everything. Who am I? I am thinking. And this thinking exists in the present moment. This thinking is active. It is always doing something in each present moment. Thinking is dynamic. Thinking has power. Thinking is always active and engaging in some way. And thinking has intention. Speaking in the most general way, thinking always has fear and hope. It is the fear of getting suffering and the hope of getting happiness. In every moment, every being has this underlying fear and hope. And that's what shapes our intentions, our choices, and our decisions. It's important to understand the 3 doors for many reasons. And one is because there are many traditions of Buddhist practice. The 3 doors refers to body, speech, and mind, which are acting, speaking, and thinking. And different Buddhist traditions will place their focus on the 3 doors in different ways. I was trained in a tradition that always emphasized mind or thinking. Thinking is cause, and only thinking is cause. But many other traditions are focused on speech and actions, or the outward acts of the body. Together, these are usually called conduct. And what we do and what we say is definitely important. In the Mahayana tradition that I studied in, the focus was on mind or thinking. And the reason is simple. All of our conduct, everything we say or do, is determined by thinking. And without thinking, there is no speech, there is no action. There is a decision made to say or do something. So the words and the actions are the outward expression of the thinking. And if we want to improve ourselves, to become less harmful and more beneficial to both ourselves and others, then we really need to go to the source, the thinking. This is the source. And if we fix our problems here first, the speech and the actions will follow automatically. And yes, there are different levels of awareness we have, of being aware of what we're thinking, what we're saying, and what we're doing. In a state of dullness, we may perceive our speech and actions as automatic, like they are occurring without intention. But this is the absence of awareness, not the absence of thinking or intention. It can be called habit. It can be regarded as subconscious, but it's always there, no matter how aware of it we may be at some given time. So the 3 doors, body, speech, and mind, or action, speaking, and thinking, they are connected. They have a relationship to each other, with mind as the controller. This is important to help understand the next topic, which is the 10 virtues and the 10 non-virtues. These are 2 sets of 10, which both lists have in the same order. They are 10 things to engage and 10 to refrain from engaging in. The reason is the first 10 create positive karma and the second 10 create negative karma. And karma will result in either happiness or suffering for both oneself and others. As is often said in Buddhism, first, do no harm. My understanding of these lists is that they are common to all Buddhist traditions, but the specific language can vary, and how they are taught and how they are applied is where there are significant differences from one Buddhist tradition to another. And I will describe this a little bit later in the video. First, we need to look at the lists. My disclaimer here is that there are many versions of these lists and I take no issue with that. The ones I present here are the most useful to me, so they're the ones that I'm going to share. So, the lists are, starting with the 10 non-virtues. Number 1, to kill living beings. Number 2, to steal from other beings. Number 3, to lie to human beings. Number 4, to engage in sexual misconduct. Number 5, to speak divisive words. Number 6, to speak harsh words. Number 7, to speak useless words. Number 8, to engage in covetousness. Number 9, to have harmful intentions. And the last one, number 10, is to hold wrong views. Then we have the 10 virtues, which they are the reverse of the non-virtues. They sound like this. Number 1, to protect living beings. Number 2, to give to other beings. Number 3, to speak honestly with others. And number 4, to maintain ethical conduct. Number 5, to never speak divisive words. Number 6, to never speak harsh words. And number 7, to never speak useless words. Number 8, abandon covetousness. Number 9, abandon harmful intentions. Number 10, abandon wrong views. Now, in each list of 10, they can be grouped in 3 categories, which are virtue or non-virtue of body, speech, and mind. 1 through 4 are body or actions, 5 through 7 are speech, and 8 through 10 are mind or thinking. The first list is what actions we should abandon, what speech we should abandon, and what kind of thinking we should refrain from. Then the same order is repeated, but phrased as the opposite. What acts we should engage in, what speech we should engage in, and what thinking we should engage in. The lists start with the most outwardly destructive first. Then they move towards the more subtle and end with inward activity of thinking. Let's go through them again in order, with the virtue put right next to the non-virtue. And remember, the first 4 are body or action. Number 1, protect living beings as opposed to killing living beings. So one is harmful, the other is beneficial. Number 2, giving to others as opposed to stealing from others. So giving generously to others, it could be your time, it could be resources and materials, is a very virtuous act, and it creates very good karma. Whereas stealing does the opposite. And stealing is defined as taking what is not offered. 3, speaking honestly to others as opposed to lying to others. In our culture today, in my lifetime, this is trending in the wrong direction, and this matters. One result of lying again and again is when you speak the truth, you won't be trusted or believed. Number 4, to maintain ethical conduct as opposed to misconduct. And this is generally referencing sexual acts or misdeeds. The general exploitation of others is a non-virtue, and any sexual act should always be with a qualified and fully consenting partner. In my training, there was not a lot of elaboration on this, so I'm going to leave this topic here. The next 3 are specifically about speaking, communicating with language, which is not limited to just the spoken word, but really any communication with language, such as writing. Our words always have some intention, and if we aren't careful, the intentions can be very harmful. Starting number 5, we have speaking divisive words, opposed to speaking healing words or reconciling words. Divisive means the intention is to create some rift or widen a rift between people. Taunting people, sharing gossip and rumors that are negative or demeaning, or simply provoking people with no intended benefit. Our modern media has amplified and normalized this practice. This is non-virtuous because there is no benefit. It arises from negative thinking. Social issues and disagreements are real, but divisive speech is not a solution. Number 6 is speaking harsh words, as opposed to speaking kind words and encouraging words. Harsh words are more severe than divisive words because divisive words could be phrased very nicely. An example might be, I know you like Jim, and I do too, but I wonder if he's hiding something from us. This is sowing the seeds of doubt and suspicion, and this is divisive. But a version of this that is harsh speech might sound like, Jim is a dirty liar and a cheat. Now, it is true that both of these are divisive, but the second one is also harsh. So these categories are not exclusive of each other. We can speak in ways that are both. Harsh speech includes insults, profanity, and criticism spoken just for the purpose of pointing out a shortcoming or demeaning another. At the core, harsh speech is rooted in anger. Most often it is directed at others, but we can also direct it at ourselves. And then number 7 is useless speech, speech that has no benefit, either engaging in it or refraining from it. Useless speech is not overtly destructive like divisive speech and harsh speech. It doesn't have the anger component behind it. It has the quality of ignorance instead. Ignorance in the sense of dullness, not clearly holding some intention or goal. Talking just for the sake of filling the air with words. The problem with this is the kind of habit it supports and the effect it has on others as they listen to us. The habit, like most habits, is we start doing something on a subconscious level and we are not paying much attention to it. And maybe it's happening because we're imitating others or just trying to fit in. It could be a habit from childhood, mimicking the adults around us. But as time passes, this kind of habit becomes more entrenched. And then it's not so easy to change. It takes more effort. When we speak, it is meant to be heard by others. What is the message intended to convey? The habit of useless speech takes the value of this and dilutes it. It devalues the power we have to communicate things of importance. It trains us internally to disregard this value. And it demonstrates to others that when we speak, it isn't anything important to hear or to consider. It's a waste of energy. Speaking can have great virtuous power, and the habit of useless speech trains us to lose this power. And then we get to the last 3, which are about thinking, or mind. Mind is the controller. Thinking is who and what we are. So this trio is at the center of everything that is virtuous or non-virtuous. Starting with number 8, we have abandoning covetousness. And this is greed. The thinking that wants what another being has, which can be objects, relationships, and experiences. Anything external, meaning outside of thinking, that we can desire, pursue, or cling to. This will end up leading us to suffering, because this is the result of greed. That no matter where we look for happiness, if it is outside our own positive thinking, it cannot truly bring us happiness. Greed is one of the 3 poisons for this reason. Greed is endless. Once we go down that path, there is always the next object of greed to chase and then cling to. And no matter what we chase or cling to, it is impermanent and cannot bring us real happiness. Number 9 is harmful intentions, which covers a lot of territory. Intending harm can be overt or subtle. It is some level or degree of thinking, I wish for that other being or beings to suffer. It can be a momentary flash of anger or jealousy, or it can be a sustained long-term meditation, repeating again and again. But it is the thinking. not the words or the action. That is the non-virtue. So it goes deeper, to the root of negativity towards another. Anger is one of the three poisons, along with greed and ignorance. Intention is what determines karma. Good intentions, good karma. Bad intentions, bad karma. Number 10, the last one, is abandoning wrong views. I've spoken in other videos about view and why it is important. Wrong view is the result of ignorance, the act of ignoring. It is the thinking that ignores wisdom. Ignorance is the root negative thinking from which all other negative thinking arises. When we hold wrong view, it leads to all varieties of misunderstandings about ourselves and others. And these misunderstandings are what lead us to, or what give us permission to engage in anger, greed, jealousy, and pride. When we correct our wrong views, it is an essential part of how we overcome the habits of negative thinking. And negative thinking is both the cause of future suffering and the experience of suffering. So we can see with these last three, they are modes of thinking, and they are the three poisons, the root of all suffering: anger, greed, and ignorance. Buddhist teachings are often structured like this. They begin with a basic level of understanding and then progress deeper to levels of more hidden and profound understanding. Here, the lists start with actions, then move to speech, and conclude with thinking. This is deliberate, and it is instructional. It teaches us and reminds us of how suffering works, and how refraining from non-virtue relieves that suffering. We start by understanding something more obvious, something more outwardly destructive, and then gradually move toward the less obvious. It's like cleaning up the big mess first, and then go after what caused that big mess. These lists of virtue and non-virtue are often used as somewhat rigid and fixed rules. The first 7 may be the primary focus for, let's say, a practitioner in a Buddhist Sutrayana tradition. It is the actions and the speech. Actions and speech are rules about conduct. The rules about thinking or mind may not have so much emphasis. And this is a notable difference between Sutrayana and Mahayana traditions, how strictly they interpret these rules. Sutra-style interpretation is more fixed. The actions and speech must always be good. Mahayana allows exceptions when the thinking stays virtuous, even when the outward act or speech appears non-virtuous or harmful. For example, a small child is reaching up to a pot of hot water on a stove. They're about to spill it and get badly burned, and the parent swats their hand away. This may look like an adult striking a child, which is non-virtuous. But the act is done to protect the child from a greater harm, so it is the greater harm being averted. Now this topic will get more detailed explanation in another video, but it's important to understand this distinction. There are different levels of understanding the virtue and the non-virtue. Why do we have these 3 groups within the 10 virtues and 10 non-virtues? I'll offer you 2 reasons. The first is addressing the different capacities of beings. Each of us at any given time is capable of making use of some things but not others. Over time, we learn and incorporate more skills, and our capacity increases. It's similar to learning math. We start by learning numbers, then some simple addition and subtraction. Eventually, we can do more advanced calculations. Buddha recognized that there is a vast spectrum of capacities that different beings have for both learning and practicing, and the structure of his teachings incorporate this. It doesn't mean his teachings have contradictions. It means they have some built-in scale to accommodate different capacities. The second reason I'll offer is the 3 doors, body, speech, and mind. They are different but connected. And when we engage in all 3 together with the same intention, when they are united, It creates a much more harmonious and powerful result. Unifying the three doors is important, in a general sense, for everything we do, and the virtues and non-virtues include them to illuminate how the three doors can be used correctly or incorrectly. Body, speech, and mind are the three doors, the 10 virtues and the 10 non-virtues. These are the topics in this video. I will be elaborating more on some of these other issues contained in this teaching. I do hope this channel and its content is helpful and maybe even inspiring. If it interests you, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, comment. It's interactive that way. And once again, thanks for watching.